All right, moving right. Has Amaz given anything 1 star? Is this a rating from 2 to 4? No, it's Arena. There are a lot of cards that are just playable in Arena. I think people. Okay, so this is interesting, right? People usually tend to think in Arena terms of, okay, is this card just good or is this card just bad? That's not how you play Arena. There's a lot of Arena cards that are like in the middle, right? So that's what makes Arena fun. You need to kind of like play okay cards sometimes. Burlock is the Shaman card for a 2 mana. For 2 mana, you get a 2/2 Murloc. Battlecry, freeze an enemy. So this is completely fine. It disrupts your opponent and does a good job of impersonating Glacial Shard. It does have 2 health, which is a big upgrade from 1 health because it doesn't get pinged off. It doesn't get like hero power down. So yeah, I'd be pretty happy with Burlocks. So I'll give this 3 stars. It's a 2 mana 2/2 with you know, utility effect. Ice Fishing is a 2 mana card that draws 2 Murlocs from your deck. Very, very difficult to make this work because you're not going to be able to draft that many Murlocs in Arena, and also the Murlocs you draft sometimes are not going to do anything. There's a lot of Murlocs that are bad by themselves, right? Even something like Cold Light Seer is really bad because it actually needs other Murlocs to be good. Otherwise, it's just a 3 mana 2/3, right? So I think Ice Fishing is not going to make it. If it's gonna make it in your deck, then perfect, because 2 mana draw 2 is really good. But you're not gonna have the constructed power in your Arena deck because you just don't get to choose what Murlocs you draft. So I'm gonna just give this 1 star. Next we have a Drakari Defender. For 3 mana, you get a 2/8 taunt, which is really big. But you overload for 3, so this is not a turn 3 drop. If you play this on turn 3, I think this is just going to be abysmal. Because you spend your turn 3 and 4 to play a 2/8 taunt, and that's like really, really weak. So the only way to effectively use this is you wait till late game, and then you play this, and because late game is usually limited to cards rather than mana, then you actually get improved. But then late game, what the hell are you doing with a 2/8 taunt, right? Like 2/8 taunts are so bad late game. So overall, this card is very, very abysmal. I think it's not relevant in any parts of the game at all. So I'm just gonna give this 2 stars. It still has 2 attack, which is nice, but yeah, it's a 6 mana 2/8 at the end of the day. Here we have a Icebreaker. For 3 mana, you get a weapon, 1/3 weapon, so pretty weak, but it has an extra effect. Destroy any minion, any frozen minion damaged by this. So in how do I say it? This is actually a little bit of double dipping in a sense, because when you're freezing a minion, you're effectively removing it from combat already. So with Icebreaker, you're just improving the freeze effect to a destroy effect. So I think this is actually really bad because like freezing a minion is already good because your opponent is already going to have to like play around it by, you know, putting more stuff on the board or you know, removing your stuff. And it gets really awkward, and then they play into your volcanoes if that's the case, right? I don't think upgrading freeze effects to destroy is that good. Plus, if you actually don't have any frozen minions to hit with this is a 1/3 weapon, so this is actually terrible. It doesn't actually do anything. It kills like what? Paladin 1/1s. So yeah, I think this is pretty bad. I'm gonna give this 1 star, and I would try and avoid this, even if I have frozen effects. Like this one, Avalanche. For 4 mana, you get to freeze a minion and then deal 3 damage to adjacent ones, which is pretty damn strong, right? So you get to like neuter a minion, and then you get to remove effectively the other 2 minions, right? So I think Avalanche is really powerful, and it does a good job of it's kind of like Jade Lightning. And it's kind of like Tidal Surge, where it's just like a removal spell if your opponent has more than 1 minion. It becomes especially good if you're actually freezing a big minion. So then it helps in your racing situations, and it helps if you have stuff like Flame Tongue Totem or Volcano. Like, it sets up a lot of things. So Avalanche, I think, is great. I think I'm going to give this 4 stars. Next, we have Voodoo Hexa. It's a 5 mana 2/7 with Taunt, and the Snow Chugger effect. Freeze any character damaged by this minion. This is going to make... once again, it's gonna make combat very, very miserable for your opponent, because your opponents, you turn all your opponent's minions into frozen crushers, right? And since it's taunt, it becomes really, really good. When you play this, just make sure to avoid all stampeding Kodos, and Cabal Shadow Priest and stuff like that, right? Because that will make your day really, really bad. And even stuff like Crazed Alchemist and Cookie Chemist. Anyways, by alone, this minion is gonna enable your other cards to be better. So for example, your 4 mana 5 attack minions are gonna get better because the Voodoo Hexa is protecting it. Your Flame Tongues are gonna be better. Your weapons are gonna be better, right? So I think this is great. I think we're just gonna give this a 3 stars. I think you actively want to have this in your deck, and yeah, it's a fine rare. Next we have Cryostasis. For 2 mana, you freeze a minion and give it +3/+3. So you're effectively making it skip its next attack, right? So this is like a lot of stats in one card, right? And the bad thing is that if you have to freeze a minion. This is very similar to the Priest Hero Power, actually, because how do I say it? When you use a 2/3 to trade a 2/2 in Priest and then you heal it, you're effectively doing Cryostasis on it, right? And Cryostasis also set because you actually get to miss an attack, right? Because you traded, technically speaking, and then you get to buff it. But this, you're not healing it, you're actually buffing it. So you skip the trade, but you're buffing its stats. And then next turn, it becomes pretty insane. So I think Cryostasis is actually really, really strong. And the floor of this is you play Hero Power, you play Cryostasis on the totem, and you make a 3/5. So a 4 mana 3/5 that can't attack next turn. And I think that's also passable. So yeah, I think overall, if you play this on a top minion or a minion that's really, really powerful, I think you're going to be very happy. So I'm going to give this 4 stars. I think it's very similar to Blessing of Kings. So yeah, I like this card. You can also randomly freeze your opponent's big minions. I think the situation will come up where your opponent plays like a Boldfist Ogre and you're trying to raise your opponent and you're using this to freeze your opponent's minions because you're going to win next turn. So this fringe case also helps the rating out. So yeah, 4 stars. Alright, another giant. It's an 11 mana giant with cost 1 less for each mana crystal you overloaded this game. It is an elemental, and of course, being a giant is an 8/8. So this has the potential of being 0 mana, but probably not in arena. It's just a big dirty creature, right? You just want to overload 3 times for this to become an 8/8. 8 mana 8/8, and that's perfectly serviceable. So if you're looking for some win conditions, I think this is fine. This does not evolve into anything because at 12 mana it's Mountain Giant. So if you evolve this, you're effectively giving this a full heal, which, you know, it does come up, but you're just, you know, you're effectively just playing 8 mana 8/8. So I think this is just reasonable. It's just, you know, like your any other regular big creature. Being an elemental doesn't really, I don't really think it affects this card as much because it's so expensive. So yeah, I'm just gonna give this 3 stars. If you want a big creature, pick it. If you don't need big creatures, then don't pick it. And then next we have the legendary card Robbie for Shaman. For 6 mana you get a 4/4, and then you get, and whenever another minion is frozen, you add a copy of it into your hand. So once again, I think a 6 mana 4/4 draw card is fine. A 6 mana 4/4 draw 2 cards is great, but the fact that it relies on your other effects to be good makes this a very big liability. And the fact that Shamans are still not swimming in frozen effects makes this kind of awkward. I think the best way to use this is to draft Frozen Crusher of this. So that you play Frozen Crusher, you play Murabi next turn, you hit, and then you draw Frozen Crusher, and that seems pretty good. But otherwise, I think this is pretty crappy. I don't think you actually want this, so it's a 1-star card. Alright, and finally we have Thrall Deathseer. For 5 mana, you get the Death Knight card. Battlecry, transform your minions into random ones that cost 2 more. Oh my god, so you're effectively getting insane amounts of board. You get 5 armor, of course, and then your hero power becomes evolve 1 creature. You transform a friendly minion into a random one that costs 1 more. I have no idea how your opponent can beat Thrall Deathseer if you have 1, 2, or even 3 minions. If you have a couple of minions, you play Thrall Deathseer, the game is effectively over because you just effectively gave your minions +2/+2 on average, right? And then every time you play a minion, it becomes bigger. It also makes your Battlecry minions even stronger, right? So stuff like Fire Plume Phoenix, right? 4 mana 3/3, deal 2 damage. Okay, you just take deal 2 damage and then make it a 5-drop, right? So, and then if they don't kill the 5-drop, you trade or go face of the 5-drop, and then you improve it to a 6-drop, right? Like, when does the value ever end? I think both parts of this card is like literally insane. And the fact that you can play this on 7 mana and immediately use this hero power on a creature that didn't evolve to be a good thing into something even better makes this insane, right? It's transform your minions into random ones that cost 2 more, and one of them into a one that costs 3 more, right? And you get to choose. Now, this card is just insane. So 5 stars, easy 5 stars with Death's here. And of course, you want to find cards like Serena Chain Gang. You want to find stuff like Doppelgangster, you know, just cards that make a lot of cards. And then evolve them and go boom. What's up, bruh? Alright, onwards to Warlock. First we have Sanguine Reveler. It's a 1 mana 1/1 with Battlecry, destroy a friendly minion, and gain +2/+2. So this card is reasonably okay. If you can use it on a 1-drop, you get a 1 mana 3/3. So it's kind of like a Mark of the Wild for 1-drops, right? If you use this on anything else, it becomes a little bit worse. But yeah, if you can actually make this work, then it's okay. If you use it on a 2/1, I think it's fine too, because it becomes a divine strength at that point, right? So I think this is reasonable. I don't think you want too many of these effects. The more Sanguine Revelers you have, the worse it becomes, because like how many minions can you destroy anyways, right? So I'm gonna give this a 3 stars, and I think I only, once again, want 1 copy. Next we have Drain Soul. For 2 mana, you can deal 2 damage to a minion, and it also life steals. So it really reminds me of Flame Geyser, in the sense that it's a 2 mana deal 2, but then it life steals, so it's not as good as drawing a 1 mana 1/2 elemental, right? Because restoring health at the end of the day is not too relevant in arena, right? This is more of a constructor card. The Saving Grace, once again, I use Saving Grace a lot today, huh? Weird. But the Saving Grace is that you can use this 2 health to draw a card. So it's kind of like a 4 mana deal 2 draw a card, which you could say that it's a bad slam, but at the end of the day, Warlocks don't really mind drawing bad slams, right? 2 mana deal 2 is good against 3/2s, so you would want to put this in your deck. So yeah, this is a 3-star card. Oh god, we have 3 mana 3/6 Howl Fiend. Okay, and then you go like, wow, 3 mana 3/6, that seems like a pretty good deal, right? No, it's whenever this minion takes damage, you discard a random card. How in the world would you want to play a 3 mana 3/6 in this sort of game where, you know, 3 mana 3/4s are perfectly serviceable, where you can actually just screw yourself, right? You can actually just screw yourself. Howl Fiend can only be played when your hand is empty, and when your hand is empty, 3 mana 3/6 is not going to be unbeatable, right? So I think this card is actually pretty trashy. It is still a body at the end of the day, so it still fights combat, so it's not 0 stars, but it is a 1 star, and I'm pretty sure I'm just not going to want to draft this. Dfile is a 2 mana card with deal 1 damage to all minions, and if any of them die, cast this again. So, you know, if you can set up a board state where this actually, you know, cast the second time or the third time, then you get to AoE the board for quite a bit. So really strong against classes like Shamans and Paladins, where they naturally have cards that make you Dfile really quickly. But at the end of the day, you know, there are a lot of situations where this is only going to happen once in Arena. So I think this is serviceable. I don't think this is going to be that insane. I think Hellfire and Shadow Flame are going to be more consistent than Dfile. So I'm just going to give this 2 stars. This is not the AoE you're looking for. And I think something like a 2-drop even, or even, yeah, like one of the other AoE effects would just be better than this. So yeah, leave the Dfile to the constructed decks. Next we have Unwilling Sacrifice. If for 3 mana, you get to choose a friendly minion, destroy it, and then also a random enemy minion. So you have to destroy a friendly minion first, and then you get a deadly shot, which is actually fine. Like, you know, that's completely fine. It's like a Blast Crystal Potion, but instead of, you know, destroying your own mana, you destroy one of your small creatures, right? As a Warlock, there are no more really big token generators, but there are a few neutral token generators that are good, right? So at the end of the day, removal is king in Arena, right? So like, you just need to find your removal. You need to beat those big bombs that your opponent plays, like Boulder Fist Ogre or even Chillin' Yeti, and I think this is like fine. Once again, multiples of these cards are going to be really, really bad. So you don't want a lot of these. So I would rate the first one 3 stars, and then I do not want to draft the second one or the third one. Despicable Dreadlord is a 5 mana 4/5 demon with, at the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. This is gonna be so backbreaking against some decks, right? Imagine if you're playing against Paladin, right? It's a 5 mana 4/5 that deals 1 damage to all of their cards, and then they can't hero power as long as this lives. So they either have to deal with this, or they can't hero power at all. And then everything they play will be losing 1 health. And then if you can craft a situation, right, where your Despicable Dreadlord does not have to trade, it just stays on the battlefield and just keeps on hitting your opponent's face, then I just don't see how your opponent can come back with that. And hey, what's the worst case? Wow, the worst case is that you actually have to trade with this, and then maybe this even lives. Yeah, this card is just bonkers. And of course, this is one of the rare cards that gets better in multiples. If you have 2 Dreadlords, then, you know, God bless your opponent. I think they're just going to concede. So, Despicable Dreadlord is a very easy 5-star. You just want to pick this when you see it. Gnome-Feratu, 2 mana 2/3. With Battlecry, remove the top card of your opponent's deck. The Battlecry effectively does nothing because arena games, 99% of arena games do not go to fatigue. Right? So removing the top card of your opponent's deck doesn't really do anything. I mean, like, you don't even get any scouting purposes. In Constructed, you get to scout your opponent's deck. Like, if you're a bad player, you get to go like, oh, so he's playing this kind of deck. In Arena, you don't even get to do that because, you know, it's Arena. It's all random cards, right? It's a limited format. The saving grace of this is that it's a 2 mana 2/3. And 2 drops are very, very important in Arena. So you draft this because it's a River Crocolisk. So it gets... Oh man, at the end of the day, it is a 2-drop. So if you need a 2-drop, you want to draft this. But if you have better choices, then you don't want to draft this. So yeah, 3 stars just because it's a River Crocolisk. Treachery is a 3 mana card that says, what face? 0 stars, unplayable, ignore this. 5 mana Blood Queen Lanethel. You get a 1/6 lifesteal, and it gains 1 attack for each card you discard this game. Okay, so why in the world are you going to discard cards in the arena? Well, you could. There are a lot of cases where you are going to discard cards. So stuff like Soulfire, stuff like Doomguard. So sure, you can discard cards. But then how many cards do you need to discard for this to be good, right? 5 mana, 2/6 lifesteal is actually pretty much fine. But then it's not really breaking the game, right? And then you actually do have to work to make this work. Yeah, so oh man, I'm not a fan of Blood Queen Lanethel. I think, you know, having lifesteal is good, but having it on such a body is going to be very, very bad. So yeah, I think this is just a 1-star legendary. I don't think you want to actually have this. And then we have Blood Reaver Gul'dan, the 10 mana Death Knight card for Warlocks. Battlecry, summon all friendly demons that died this game. Get 5 armor. And then change your hero power into Siphon Life. It deals 3 damage and it life steals. Okay. So first of all, you get all your demons back. So you get your Void Walkers back, right? You get your you get your Abyssal Enforcers, or your Dread Infernals, you get everything back. So demons become insane, right? Flame Imps. And then you also get to change your hero power into basically if you can't kill me this turn, you lose the game. Right? This hero power is bonkers. Like, how does your opponent actually get to play anything if you deal 3 damage to it every single turn? And if they don't play anything, you deal 3 damage to face, and you also get to stabilize? Yeah, this is an insane hero power coupled with an insane Battlecry. This is exactly like Cruel, right? Cruel the Unshackled, where you just, you know, dump out all this board, and then your opponent can't deal with this. And then even if your opponent, God bless them, like wipes the board with, like, you know, Twisting Nether or Brawl or something, you get to just win the game with the Siphon Life. Yeah, easy 5 stars once again for Blood Reaver Gul'dan. Like, just draft this and then pick every single demon you see and then be very happy with your deck. We have 1 mana 1/3 animated Berserker. After you play a minion, deal 1 damage to it. I am not playing a 1 mana 1/3 that reduces the life of all my minions by 1, okay? Sure, you can activate this with like Acolyte of Pain or the new Valkyrie Soul Claimer or whatever, but I mean, what are you doing with your life if you're smorking your own creatures, right? So yeah, I'm off this. 1 mana 1/3s are good in arena, but not something that gives you a downside. So yeah, this is just a 1-star. Very bad warrior card. Forge of Souls is a 2 mana draw 2 for warrior, but it draws 2 weapons. So if you have, you know, something like 2, 3, or 4 weapons, then you're going to be pretty happy with this card because it's a 2 mana draw 2. And it also doubles on your weapons because it doesn't really matter that, you know, this might be dead late game because arena games are won with weapons, okay? The more weapons you draw, the more arena games you're going to win. So having Forge of Souls here to actually draw the win condition in the deck you're playing is actually really, really powerful. So Forge of Souls, I think, once again, you only want 1 copy because 2 copies makes it a little bit overkill. You cannot dual wield weapons, right? It's not a trump card in that sense. So 1 Forge of Souls is enough. And the first copy, I think, is 3 stars. I think it's pretty nice. Decent. Blood Razor is a 4 mana 2/2 weapon with Battlecry and Death Rattle. Cast a Whirlwind, right? Deal 1 damage to all minions. This is the best board clear that Warrior has in Arena now, because it's effectively 2 swipes in 1. I said this in my constructed review as well. It's just too much value packed into one single card. I don't see how your opponent can actually craft a board that can survive 2 Blood Razor attacks. It's just impossible. And there are some decks that just fold to this card, right? You know, if you're playing against like Hunters, if you're playing against Paladins, how did they beat Blood Razor on 4, right? It has a Battlecry effect. So this is nutsos. You want to draft as many Blood Razors as you see and just go with the board control, you know, play big stuff, remove all the stuff, Warrior. It's just going to make Warrior really good. So 5 stars. Easy 5 stars with this weapon. Mountain Fire Armor is a 3 mana 4/3 with Death Rattle. If it's your opponent's turn, gain 6 armor. So ignoring the Death Rattle text, a 3 mana 4/3 is already serviceable. Like, it's already fine in arena. It's a minimum of 3 stars, right? How good is gaining 6 armor in arena? Well, it's actually not too relevant. It's only relevant if you have a lot of weapons, right? And also you need your opponent to kill it. So I think overall, I think a 3 mana 4/3 is a 3 stars. And given an extra effect, I do not think this pushes it to 4 stars because gaining 6 armor in arena is, you know, it's good. I wouldn't say it's like useless, but in a lot of cases it is negligible because you're still fighting for the board. Once again, it gets better if you have more weapons, but I think this is still a 3 stars. Valkyrie Soulclaimer, as for a 3 mana 1/4, you get a effect of whenever this minion survives damage, you summon a 2/2 Guru. So you do want to trade this against like 1 health creatures, obviously, and then you get 2/2s. But then I do not see this activating more than 1 time because the second attack, you need this to survive again, which I don't think is going to happen, right? So say you kill a 1/1 or a 2/1, and then this is a 1/2 now, right? You need to literally kill a 1/1 for this to work, or you need to cast Whirlwind, right? So, and then you get another 2/2, and then you don't get anything more. So yeah, I think activating this is going to be very, very difficult. I think playing a 3 mana 2/4 might even be better than this, and playing a 3 mana 3/4 is like, or 3 mana 4/3 is just way better than this. So I think this card actually just sucks. I'm going to just give this 1 star. I don't think you actively want this in your arena deck. Next we have Death Revenant. For 5 mana you get a 3/3, so that's pretty bad, but you get to increase the stats by +1/+1 for each damaged minion. So it's reasonable. I mean, you know, sometimes you're gonna get 1 damaged minion or 2 damaged minions. In the sense, it's like a 5 mana 4/4 or 5/5. You do have to work for it. And I don't think you're ever gonna get a 5 mana 6/6 or 7/7 or so on, right? Like, I don't think it's actually gonna happen. You're not playing. You're playing Hearthstone. In Hearthstone, minions trade for minions. There's not gonna be a lot of minions that survive, usually, in the board, right? So I think this is actually just crappy. I'm gonna just give this 1 star. There's so many 5-drops that are better than this, and if you're looking for some 5-drops, then sure, this will do. But yeah, in the best decks, this will not even appear in your deck list. Dead Man's Hand is a 2 mana card that says shuffle a copy of your hand into your deck. You are not going to play a card that gains you no tempo. You're not going to play a card that gives you no card advantage. And yeah, putting more cards into your deck is like what face? So this is a very easy 0-star card. I guess thank God it's an epic because you're not going to see this too often. So yeah. This is just trash. Bring It On is a 2 mana card that gains you 10 armor and then reduces the cost of your minions in your opponent's hand by 2. There is in no world you're gonna give your opponent free innervates for 10 armor in arena, right? There's just no way, right? 0. Easy 0-star. And then we have the Warrior Legendary. Rotface is an 8 mana 4/6. Whenever this minion survives damage, summon a random legendary minion. So if you can actually combo this with something like Blood Razor, or you can combo this with like Inner Rage or whatever, then it starts to become pretty crazy because it spawns another minion, right? So this is much better than the Valkyrie Soul Claimer because the minion you're getting is actually pretty big. Sometimes you get trolled, obviously. Sometimes you get like Nat Pagal or like Lorewalk or Cho. But then on the other hand, sometimes you get an 8/8 because most legendaries are 8/8 anyways, right? So the fact that you can activate this the turn it comes in, because you can actually craft that situation with like Taskmaster, Whirlwind, and equip Blood Razor. Yeah, I think if you play this and it works, it's gonna run away with the game. So I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I think with a little bit of support, this just wins the game. It kind of reminds me of Confessor Paltris in Arena, where if they don't kill your Confessor, you just win the game. And finally, we have the last Death Knight for Arena. It is 8 mana Scourgelord Garrosh. You equip a 4/3 Shadowmourne that also damages adjacent minions, right? You get 5 armor, and then you also get a hero power of deal 1 damage to all minions. This is insanely powerful in Arena because for 8 mana, you get to basically cast 2 Consecrations. That's worth 4 mana, right? Plus, you get a 4/2 weapon, because you used it already, right? You get a 4/2 weapon that you can cast double Consecration again for free, twice. And if that's not enough to kill them, you can use Bladestorm to deal 1 more damage to them. Okay, this is like beyond nuts. There's just, like, your opponent is just not gonna have a board after you play Scourgelord Garrosh. And of course, you could craft a situation where, you know, the Bladestorm never really hits your own minions. And if they do, you don't really care anyways, right? So yeah, this is just an insane card. Easy 5 stars once again for Scourgelord Garrosh. And yeah, just clear the board. Or even go face, because face is relevant in Arena.